Well, hello, fungi friends. I got a whole bunch of boletes, these big old butter boletes, and some king boletes here too. This is Boletes rex varus. That's the spring king. These big yellow bad boys are Boletes, the butter boletes. Boletes primaregius. So these have a porous surface that will stain blue pretty quickly when I rub them, and they turn very, very blue, which is pretty cool, if I do say so myself. I'm just got my phone adjusted here. There we go. So I'm gonna pull all the things out of the basket. There you go, you see the blue stain. Whereas the king boletes don't stain really at all when you bruise them. So I'm gonna pull all the stuff out of my basket, clean it off, and cook a whole bunch, and just try to process as much of this as I can before I have to go to bed. Because I have an early morning tomorrow, and I have got to get as many of these boletes processed as I possibly can. Move this so I got the mic on me, you guys can hear me. Great. Yeah, we're gonna just lay out all the mushrooms, see what, kind of take stock of what I have, basically, and clean up any little nasty bits that are going on here. Evict any insect denizens. I can see quite a few bugs flying out of my basket here. Ooh, that's a nice looking king right there. Yeah, that one sounds good. It's got a great little timber to it. So I'll give these each a tap as I take them out. Kind of helps me grade them a little bit, figure out where they should go. Ooh, mosquito. Oh, it sounds okay. It's a little hollow. How about this one? Solid. Solid king. Oh, this one looked so good when I picked it, but then there was bug damage, so I'm gonna end up cooking that one or drying it tonight, hopefully. This is not a bolete. This is Agaricus moronii. It's a yellow staining agaric that smells like almonds, and it's really quite good. See if I have time, I'll cook that one up tonight. Just nice little butter bolete. I have some butter boletes from earlier in the trip, but I got a lot today, so that'll be my main thing of what I'm processing, is just all the butters I picked today. But these are all the ones I got over the last 2 days. I ate a bunch up in Shasta, and yeah. Oh, here's a Hygrophorus subalpinus. This is a pretty phenomenal edible mushroom. It's sort of a white wood wax mushroom. So I have a couple things that here that aren't boletes, but most of them are boletes. There we go. I have to go dump my basket out. I see quite a few bugs crawling around that were like hanging out with the mushrooms, denizens of the mushrooms. But I'll go dump the bugs. I'm tapping them into the basket here so that any bugs on the mushrooms fall into the basket rather than onto my table. There we go. So, I mean, you know, a lot of people say fairly disparaging things about the tapping. I don't really get the anger that people have towards it, but for me, it serves a real purpose. It's a very effective way to get all the freaking bugs off, which is important because I end up with a lot of bugs on my mushrooms. All right, I'm gonna go dump the bugs, but I will be right back. Check out what's in this basket. Okay, that was just the first basket. You guys ready for the second basket? This one has all the honkers in it. So this back line here is all king boletes, and then the front line, everything sort of down from here is going to be butter boletes. Let's see if I can kind of grade them by size or quality, maturity, stuff like that. This one I need to like cut this mold spot out. Okay, got a mushroom trimming knife here. All right. So it's a nice solid bolete, but I'm looking at that little bit of mold there. It was pretty dry up there, so there wasn't a whole lot of mold going on the mushrooms, but a few of them were like buried in the ground. Did have some mold spots, so just gonna be careful with those. The Hypomyces mold that grows on boletes. Nice big thumpy boy right there. The Hypomyces mold that grows on boletes, Hypomyces chrysospermus, called the bolete eater, is toxic, and it makes the bolete bitter and full of mycotoxins. Ooh, see that blue staining on those yellow pores? That's how you know you got a butter. This look-alike has a red stem. That's a cow boletus, and it doesn't stain quite as dark blue. It's a different kind of staining blue. You have to see them side by side to really understand, but I wrote happy on this one earlier, and it's now turned brown, but it's a beautiful mushroom. All right. Just keep pulling these out of the thing. So this is one of the best ones I found today. Look how bright that pore surface is. Just so insanely yellow. I absolutely love these. So I usually do these late night streams on TikTok, but I figured I'd hop on YouTube and hang out with you guys instead. So hopefully you appreciate this. I'll check the chat in a moment, see to your questions. At the moment, I really just am trying to get everything out and onto the board so I can take a picture and start processing all the mushrooms. So we're giving a little quality tap as I go along here, just trying to grade them, figure out where they belong in the spectrum of mushrooms. Some of these are great. They can go in the fridge. This one's like perfect. There's no bug damage. It's really nice and young. That'll last maybe about a week in the fridge. This one's also pretty good. So there's a few of these I can pull off to the side and put in the fridge. Whereas this one, unfortunately, has some bug damage on it. So even though it's really nice and crisp, I need to cook this up right away or dry it out. So this is my job as a forager who went out into the woods and found all these beautiful mushrooms. It's now my job to come home and process them. Even though I have to wake up early and go to a dentist appointment, and I'm probably going to be up way too late cleaning mushrooms, I need to figure out a way to make sure these don't go bad, or I will have failed in my duties as a forager. So I'm just doing my due diligence here. Getting these all tapped up, cleaned off. And don't worry, I know it seems like I took a lot, but I guarantee you I left easily 5 times as many, if not more, out in the woods. I only took the ones that were in pretty good shape that I would feasibly want to cook and clean, or clean and cook and eat. And I think it's one of those things, like, foragers come home and sometimes people see them and get jealous and then suddenly, you know, accuse them of not being sustainable or something like that. And, you know, I don't know, if you spend time in the woods, you know how sort of abundant things can be out there. And certainly, too, when you as a human walk around picking stuff up, you know, you're only walking in one tiny little area that's, like, accessible. That's kind of a big fatty. So yeah, there's just like, you know, thousands and thousands and thousands of acres of untouched, untracked land where like the mushrooms and trees and everything are doing their thing. So there, you know, there's plenty out there. And to my point, often animals serve an important purpose with mushrooms and helping them disperse their spores. A lot of these mushrooms I find are often, you know, covered in little marks from animals and other things that have been sort of gnawing on them. I'm trying to find one earlier that, you know, Some of these have like claw marks on them. Some of them have bite marks. You know, animals come by and rip these things out of the ground. They're not using a knife, you know, they just pull it out. And you know, eating the mushroom and messing around with the mushroom is helping the mushroom have its spores spread by the animals in question. So I'm just getting my countertop ready here because we're going to start washing these off. Yeah, I mean, I leave most of the mushrooms I find in the woods probably for the animals to do their thing with. But a few edible ones that are in nature, I bring home. And that's what you're looking at. This was 3 days worth of mushroom hunting. Had to go pull all these out of the woods. So when I cook these, I usually do what's called a dry fry, where you'll see what I do. I put them in a pan with no oil or butter, and I just cook them until the liquid's gone. And then I add some oil or butter and brown them off. These are all foraged up in Northern California, near Mount Shasta, where the Cascade Mountain Range and the Sierra Mountain Range meet. And it's a great biome up there. So, let's see. There's no easy way for me to review all the different comments, but I can see most of it, and I think I just answered you guys. So we are going to start just washing these off. Lack of anything better. We're gonna clean them off. So I use sort of just a little stream of water here and a vegetable brush. Butter boletes tend to be very, very dirty. So I'm gonna do my best to wash off as much of the dirt as possible. That's a really dirty one. Let's see if I actually want to end up cooking that one or not. I think these kind of soggy, soft ones would be good to put in a dryer, most likely. Pull as many of these kind of softer ones off to the side and process those for the dryer. I'm trying to figure out which ones need to get cooked immediately because of the bug damage. It would have been real nice to have a sink up there and get to clean some of these ahead of time, but you don't have a sink while you're camping. I did pretty good. I had, you know, like a water jug that I was sort of dripping water out of and scrubbing them before cooking them while camping. But, you know, the standard for cleaning while camping is a little different than the standard for cleaning here at home. Okay, this cap's in pretty good shape. It just has some bug damage, so that's gonna be one I'll cook tonight. And this one has some animal scratch marks on it, so it's a little bit compromised. Cook that one up. This one was pretty good, but it's also a couple days old at this point. Let's see if I cook it and dry it. Either way, get it clean. It's always funny to me, like, I can sit here and talk about mushrooms and explain things about them, but ultimately, you know, the audience shrinks as time goes on. But when I clean mushrooms, whether I'm on YouTube or TikTok or Instagram, people just like watching someone clean mushrooms. Sometimes, and often, in the middle of the night. So maybe it's international viewers. Let me know what country you're tuning in from. I've seen a lot of traction recently with Indonesia, Thailand, Vietnam. The Southeast Asian countries really like some of those tap-tap crunch videos that I do. This is a dirty bolete. And yes, I foraged all these mushrooms. Yeah, it's funny, people always see my videos and I think people get very concerned about whether or not I clean my mushrooms. And I'm like, yeah, I do. It's just not quite as engaging to make videos about cleaning my mushrooms. I mean, I've shown it in some of the videos, but I feel like when I go viral, I get a ton of questions from people who are like, you should do this, you should do this. And I'm like, yes, I do that. Watch my other content. But, you know, the stuff that goes viral is sort of like, it's just meant to be a gateway for people to come to my profile and watch my other videos and watch my other content, listen to my podcast, hopefully buy my book when it comes out, all that kind of thing. But, you know, the viral video can't be comprehensive. And if you made it more comprehensive, I answered a lot of the questions that people tend to have. Then, oh, no, don't stop, I did not, there we go, sorry, my dishwasher was trying to go off, it's not ready to go off. I do need to run my dishwasher, but I'm going to try to get all this done first and get off the stream so you guys don't have to listen to it. Okay, I'm just cleaning up some of the biggest boletes here. There's so many of these. I cannot believe how many of them came back with. And I kept feeling like I needed more while I was out there, but clearly I have enough, you know? There is some amount of sort of, you know, when you get going, you're like, I could just keep mushroom hunting all day. And I'm never gonna stop. There's never gonna be enough. And then you get home and you're like, oh my God, why did I pick so many? I don't want to clean all of these. And I know why I picked so many. I picked a bunch for friends. I picked them to share at the local restaurant. You know, I had reasons why I was going. But like I said, I left a lot more behind than I brought home. There were so many boletes out there. Most of them were pretty gross. I only took the ones that were in pretty decent shape. careful, that is, huh? Good. Yeah, I know how hard it can be to get to sleep. So hopefully you guys find this relaxing, chill. I'm ready to go to sleep. I'm really tired, but I just finished cleaning these off and sorting them out before I can go to bed. So, the ones that I can bag up and put in the fridge are my friend. Those are the ones I don't have to do anything to tonight. I think I have a decent pile of those. I'm very excited about, not having to cook every single one of these right now, because that takes time. Oh shoot, I'm gonna take a photo. Here, let's take a quick break. I'll show you guys this pile of stuff here, and this pile of stuff here. Okay, so those are clean. Those are the big ones that I've done cleaned off. These are most of the smaller ones, that some of which I'm still cleaning. And then these are the kings, and I still need to clean the kings. Dirty job. I like sort of the bear trickle here. All right. Get all that dirt off. Once you get dirt off, you can see how nice and reddish pink they are. Butters have that beautiful red cap to them. That's how I know when I'm digging them out of the ground. I've got a butter, because I can see this red cap looking back at me, and I get under there and I see the yellow pores. Yeah, also because it's pretty much completely buried under soil, but beautiful butter. Just love that yellow color. It's so pretty. There's another lookalike called a Boletes, which this is a tough one to tell because the cap is more kind of grayish like a Boletes. The Boletes has a very distinctive red stem. This does not have a red stem, so knowing that, I know that it's a butter, not Boletes. But you don't get those too confused. It's Boletes isn't toxic; it's just bitter. Doesn't taste very good. There's a guy I know who I'd been telling him that butters were so good, so he finally went up and got what he thought were butters and cooked them up. He got back to me and he's like, I don't like butters, they're really bitter. I was like, really? I didn't have that experience. And I didn't actually see like his photo of the mushrooms, but someone else ID'd him as a big pile of Boletes, which cracked me up. Poor guy. I think he knows the difference now, and he probably won't forget it. But he also found himself a whole bunch of king boletes. The ones I'm going to start cleaning now are kings instead of being butters. It says Boletes Rex Verus. It does not have a super yellow pore surface, and it does not stain blue. Oh, we got one more butter. Dropping stuff. Okay. Alright. Gotta keep going. This is probably the nicest king that I have. I'm sorry, I forgot to tap the mushrooms. I know people always like when I tap the mushrooms. One more butter here too. I got mostly butters. I didn't pick that many kings comparatively. There weren't as many kings. They were higher up. They were few and far between. Whereas the butters were densely clustered and lower down. So I spent the first day I got up there, I went up and just did a big run and found a good amount of butters. And then yesterday I went all the way up to 6,800 feet and stopped like every couple hundred feet along the way. Was trying to figure out, where all the habitat was at. I got up to where there was still snow on the ground. Was hoping I might find some morels. Didn't see any this time around, although when I was up there a month ago, I got a whole bunch of morels. And eventually I finally managed to find some king boletes. But they were, a lot of them were pretty dried out, which was sort of a bummer. I was expecting to have a better year for kings, but it just seemed kind of slow. And I did at one point actually find a whole bunch of them. They were growing along the side of the road underneath little seedlings, and I feel like if I'd gone back up to maybe 5,100 feet or so, 5,200 feet, I could have found a lot more kings in that same sort of roadside habitat. But instead I just stayed lower down and really focused on hunting butter boletes, because that's what I wanted the most of. And it sort of seemed like that was the most productive thing. Kings are good, but I have lots and lots of porcini. I have lots of butter boletes too, but I figured I would just focus on the butters for now and rely on my stash of dried and frozen porcini. I also found a lot of porcini, like the different species, but in the fall. Whereas butter boletes I don't usually find in the fall, at least not in the same kind of abundance. There's a version of butter bolete that grows on the coast and inland here in California, but they don't fruit as gregariously or get quite as big as the wonderful Boletes primaregius, which is the butter bolete that I got here from mountains. So here's my subalpinus hygrophorus. This is a pretty good edible mushroom. It's been a few years now since I've tried it, but I know Alan Rockefeller and I have both shared the experience that this is a very good edible mushroom. Right, there's the Agaricus meronii. Get that all washed off. Okay. Goodness gracious. So these are all now clean, which is good. I feel like I need to organize them a little bit better. Maximize my space here. Okay. Gosh, some of these butters are quite large. How am I going to fit all these on here? They were on here. Just got to figure out how to fit them back on here. Mostly doing this so I can take a photo, because if I don't take a photo, then there's no proof it ever happened. It's just one of those things that I feel like mushroom hunters kind of have to do. You kind of have to take the photo. Otherwise, you try to tell everyone, like, the fish was this big, and they're like, sure it was, Bob. Sure it was. So, if I don't take the photo, then how will y'all ever know how many boletes I done picked, right? Gosh, this is a pretty tiny pile of boletes here. All right. Wow. That's not bad. Y'all see that? Let's back up a little bit so you can see everything on here. There we go. Hey, y'all should stop caring about the terms of intrusive thoughts and stuff like that. I know some people think it's the, like, pure exclusive term that should only be used by people who have OCD, but like intrusive thoughts and obsessive thoughts and all that kind of thing is become common language in society, and so let people have fun with it. And you also don't know what's in someone's head, so telling someone to like not use a term if it's what fits for them is just gatekeeping. So let's be easy on that. I think there's far too many sort of keyboard warriors these days. I see it a lot with the mushroom stuff because people are always telling me, you know, how I should or shouldn't do something with regards to how I interact with nature and mushrooms. And I'm like, well, do you have any data? Do you have any proof? Do you have any scientific rigor behind the statement that you're making? Usually it's about me pulling versus cutting mushrooms. And, you know, I'm a scientist, so I'm always willing to like change my mind on something if someone presents new and compelling data. However, if someone just kind of wants to gatekeep and tell you what you can and can't do, I don't love that. It's not super kind or considerate, and doesn't really add a lot to the conversation, honestly. It's just sort of reductive without really leaving any room for growth or discussion. So I find lobster mushrooms pretty frequently, but that's more of a late summer mushroom here in California. Okay, I'm not super paying attention to the chat, so I hope y'all are just being civil to each other. That's cool. Let's, oh my god, I don't know. What do we do here? I guess I should like take a video of all these butter boletes. Ooh. Oh yeah. Oh, we're gonna do like a cinematic video here too. Cinematic mode is weird. I don't really get it. Just makes everything blurry. Ooh. All right. Okay, let's see. I have got to cut these up and get some cooking. Wow. All right. I'm so tired. What time is it? Oh, it's 11. I have to go to bed pretty soon. Wake up early and go to my dentist appointment. Who likes going to the dentist? Nobody likes going to the dentist. Ugh. Okay, let's see. Let's grab the squishy ones. I know there's some squishy ones. Yeah, this is a squishy one. I don't know. I'm gonna cut this one and see if it's even worth it. A few of these are a little sketch. So let's see what they look like when I get them open. Sharpen up the knife real quick. Hey, Evergreen Forest Systems, you seem really upset about something. You don't have to watch this if you don't want to. I'm just talking about mushrooms. No, these are all edible culinary mushrooms. They're not hallucinogenic in any way whatsoever. I don't talk about that kind of mushroom, and I don't show that kind of mushroom. In fact, that kind of mushroom is very much not allowed on this platform, so I will never show that kind of mushroom. These are all edible, culinary, delicious mushrooms. Most of them are butter boletes, a few of them are king boletes. The kinds of mushrooms you guys are talking about can also grow on wood chips. They don't just grow on poop. That is a common misconception. I would love to educate you about those kinds of mushrooms, but unfortunately I'm not allowed to because the platform's rules. If you listen to episode 7 of my podcast, which is here on YouTube, I talk about those kinds of mushrooms extensively. So if you want to learn about them, episode 7 of the podcast is a great place to start. Okay, we're gonna come down here and cut some of these up. Ooh, that's what I was afraid of. This one has some severe internal bug damage. I think this one's squishy enough. It was good enough a few days ago, but right now it's too squishy. I think I'm just gonna call it and put it in the recycling, or the compost rather. This one should be all right though, I think. Let's see. Let's cut into it. I can try this one out. That'll be fine. Okay. I'm gonna grab one of my dryer things. Hang on. We'll be right back. Check out the Boletes. Thanks, Cami. I appreciate that. It is meant to be relaxing and chill because I'm relaxed and chill, and I'm just trying to get this all done before I have to go to bed. So, yeah, Natalia, you could probably learn a lot if you listen to the episode on those particular kinds of mushrooms. Okay, we're gonna come up here and cut up some more mushrooms. I love cooking with mushrooms too. That's primarily why I'm into mushroom hunting. I like cooking and eating them more than anything else. Some people are just nerds for mushrooms in general, and I mean I am, but it's because I can eat them. Oh my god, that one's perfect. All right. We're gonna cook this one. This one looks great. Man, I didn't even need to cut this one up. It's completely bug-free. I didn't believe that a big one could be so bug-free. But here we go. Two of the biggest ones I picked had absolutely no bugs in them, but they were higher up and they were like completely covered in dirt. So they were super, super dirty, but they were free of bugs, which is cool to see. Let's see, I'm gonna grab my pan. Okay. Just start loading up the pan. A bunch of butter boletes. This one is it's nice and crisp. Nice and crisp. See that? Feel that nice sliced butter bolete. All right. Dump that in our pan. All right, this one, I gotta cut into this one. This one did have some bug damage. It looked pretty solid, but there was a couple bug holes. But with butters, a couple of bug holes is really no big deal. Because by the time you cook them, these little bug tracks will be like nothing. You won't even notice them. So, God, they are so substantial though. I've only cut up like 3 mushrooms. My pan's already full. I have a lot more mushrooms I need to cut up and cook. Goodness gracious. I'm going to be sharing so many mushrooms with people. All right. Here's a nice big bowl of butters. All cut up and ready. They have, yeah, sort of, I mean, buttery texture and buttery taste is up to the, in the eyes of the beholder kind of thing. Just a few slices of puffball that I fried off yesterday. Okay. Gosh darn, there's just so much to do. We're gonna turn this on. Okay. Let's see. I'm gonna go with a nice pinch of salt here. No oil or butter to start. In fact, I'm gonna put a tiny bit of water in this, which is gonna seem a little weird to y'all, but this is my method for cooking down boletes here. Yeah, someone talked about pore structure and gills and stuff. So boletes are not gilled mushrooms. They have little pores underneath. Those pores are actually long parallel tubes that hang down from underneath the cap. So that's what makes a bolete. A bolete is it has these pores that hang down from under the cap. Here's an agaricus, which is very much like a portobello, and it has these sort of, you know, dark blade-like gills underneath. All right. So I'm just put as much heat on these as I can and cook them down. Your mom has a spot for black trumpets. Trumpets are great. Black trumpets are one of my favorite mushrooms. Nope, the color staining reactions of mushrooms is not robustly related to their edibility. Lots of boletes stain blue. Really only rhubarb boletes are the boletes you need to worry about. There's a few red pored boletes that stain blue that if you don't cook them very thoroughly can give you a pretty righteous stomachache, but for the most part those are all edible when they're well cooked. It's just rhubarb boletes are toxic all the time, even after being cooked. Alright, so I have some cut up mushrooms that are going to go on the dryer. I've got all these that are cooking down. Add a little bit more water here, stop everything from sticking. Alright, there's a whole bunch of butter boletes. Getting nice and soft. Wow. I'm going to start cooking up some kings here too. Did I go to biology college to study fungi? I got a degree in biochemistry, both a BS and a PhD, but I didn't study mushrooms at any point in my academic career. This is all just a hobby that I got into when I finished grad school. If you want to study mushrooms or work on mushrooms, you do not necessarily need a degree in mushrooms to do it. You can just start learning about mushrooms now. I do recommend like a basic biology degree if you want to go to school and pursue mycology as a discipline, but you don't need any kind of degree at all. Yes, I am cooking these to prevent them from breaking down any further and to stop any bug damage from, continuing to kind of go on. I'm going to turn the heat down on this a little bit. It's about at the point where I can add a little bit of oil here so they don't stick. And just a little bit of neutral all-purpose oil. I turn the heat down to sort of medium low. And I'm just going to sit here and put some browning on these guys. Okay, you guys are gonna come over here with me, and we're gonna cut up some kings. See, are we ready to cut them up? I think so. Nope. All right. These have a little more bug damage than I was hoping for. Kind of making me wonder if I should just dry them out instead of cooking them fresh, but I'm committed to having some fresh kings. So we're just gonna cook these and pretend there's no bug damage. Because by the time they get cooked, I don't really see the bug damage anyhow. So let's just pop it all in a pan and see what happens. So I put a little bit of water in here and get these going. Same treatment as the butters. A little bit of salt here too. I'm just gonna turn this on, let it rip. These butters are just sizzling away. So look at these, see how they're doing. These big sloppy pile of butters. Excellent. Looking real good. Hey Trent, I don't come into your house and comment on your kitchen. I'm cutting up mushrooms. They're covered in dirt. What do you expect? I think some people just go online to like troll people, so it's all good. Okay, I'm gonna bring you guys over here. Keep an eye on that for me. I'm gonna bag up a bunch of the other butters and try to start putting stuff away. goes in too. I think this is a king. We'll cut that up. Oh, hey, Andrew. How you doing, man? Yeah, sorry I missed you. Andrew, this is what I was talking about on the way to cook boletes. I picked this technique up from Alan, but with stuff like kings especially, I find to be a little bit bitter. So I like to put them in this little bit of water. It also helps because like all these little like crawly guys are gonna start crawling out, and the water makes it easier to kind of pick those out. So I have less worms in my mushrooms. It's really not that big a deal. Have I ever tried tempeh, bolete culture? I haven't done tempeh with boletes, but I have a friend who makes tempeh out of morels, like morel morchella mycelium. Apparently that's pretty good. Usually tempeh is made with a fungus called rhizopus. Actually, I take that back. It's aspergillus. Is it? Omcom is made from rhizopus. Pretty sure tempeh is aspergillus, unless it's something else I'm forgetting about. But yeah, you can make tempeh out of morels, which is pretty neat. All right. So, actually, given the amount of like little bits of stuff in here, I'm gonna drain the water out of this real quick, just real fast. Back in. And that's a quick and easy way to remove a good portion of the kind of weird little crawly things that were in there. Great. Now we'll just get a little bit of browning on them. Ooh, here's the thing, Andrew. You don't tell her about the bugs. Yeah, you just cook it. See the butters? There's a couple of little bugs in there, but once they're all cooked up, you can't tell. Especially not if you put sauce on them. My ex was really weird about eating bugs in the mushrooms up until we got back from Shasta, and she was like, started cooking up the mushrooms herself, and she went from being like really squeamish to suddenly like not caring at all. Yeah, don't let her see you clean them. Only show her the cooked product. You know, use your Jedi powers, Jedi mind tricks. I mean, again, I used to be weird about bugs until really it was when I found my first butters. And I was like, I need to eat these, but there's a good amount of bugs in them. And that's when I realized is like you could just cook past the bugs basically. And it's not that big a deal. Well, save some of the like primo buttons that don't have any bug damage for her to cook, and then do what I do with the rest of them, which is just utilitarianly cut them up and cook a huge batch, and then you can freeze them in little bags and dole them out. And once they've been sitting in the fridge for like, 6 months, who cares if there's like a little bit of bug damage? They just want to eat a mushroom, Or better yet, put them in like a sauce that has a lot of color so you can't really see the, these kings are more bug damage than I wanted them to be. They're just the only kings that I have. I saw you got a bunch of pretty nice ones. I got like one really nice button. Everything else I got kind of looked like this. So. Not pickles, although I have pickled butter boletes. They are pretty good. I have done that in the past. So I don't like to let my kings get too brown because they do get a little bit bitter. But do I eat all mushrooms? I don't eat all mushrooms. I eat edible mushrooms that I like. All right, those look pretty good. I'm gonna cut the heat on that. These also look pretty good. I'm gonna probably cut the heat on that. All right. Hey, thank you guys for hanging out. It's been a fun live stream. We had a couple of good questions and people who are engaging. So I cook these very plainly with just salt and some neutral oil right now. It's mostly a technique thing where I was trying to get these cooked down because I already have like 3 full grocery bags full of mushrooms to put in the fridge. So I'm just trying to cook all the ones that were like a little bit, closer to going off, cook them soon so they didn't degrade any further. And now they've been severely reduced in volume as well. So this was at least 7 or 8 9 big mushrooms, and now it's, you know, one good-sized Tupperware worth of stuff. But I'm gonna let it cool down a little bit before I try to put them away. I do have some glass Tupperware that I'll probably put these into, but yeah, some melted mozzarella is really good. I put these on pizza. I made a quesadilla with them the other night. I took some of these cooked butter boletes and simmered them in like enchilada sauce, and then put them on a quesadilla with black beans and cheese and a bunch of green onion. It was absolutely delicious. Be good if you chop them up, put them on nachos. You just take these as they are, put them on toast and put some cheese on top and then brulee it, or like put it into the toaster, get it all melty. I might do that for breakfast. I might make a butter bolete frittata for breakfast, you know? All delicious. All right, you guys are in luck. I got one more mushroom cookery thing for you. Oh, I thought we were done. But we're not quite done yet. I'm gonna do one more pan's worth of stuff. Okay. So, go back to the board, which is now denuded of mushrooms. Try to clean this up a little bit. You can see the spore print from those boletes here. Wipe everything into my little composty tray. Okay, we got our board. There's a gentleman on here earlier who was complaining the board was dirty. So I'll clean it up for you. I do hate to tell him I'm cutting up mushrooms, so, you know, dirt happens. All right. So, goodness. Here we have Agaricus moronii. It's a nice little almondy agaric. I'm gonna cut up. And that's a delicious mushroom. And we've got this Subalpinus hygrophorus. It's just has a little dirt sort of stubbornly attached to here and there. So I'm just going to use my knife to clean this off, so there's no dirt on here. Because you can't really clean dirt, you know? Dirt's gonna taste like dirt, no matter what you do. So with mushrooms, I like to try to remove as much dirt as possible, because then your mushroom tastes better. Doesn't taste like dirt, you know? In this case, you do not want to keep a little dirt under your pillow for the dirt man. Is that a thing here on YouTube? Y'all know about the dirt man? I've been on dirt man TikTok now for fucking weeks. Y'all know about TikTok? I don't even know. Is YouTube aware of TikTok? It seemed like YouTube was as impacted. Like I feel like Instagram got just absolutely owned by TikTok, but YouTube's still kind of doing its own thing. Okay. We've got this Hygrophorus subalpinus. I'm going to slice up. It's a nice mushroom. Okay, back to our pan. Okay, got all these things spread out. There we go. I'm gonna turn the heat on. Normally I'd cook these separately, but I'm running out of energy and patience. So I'm just gonna cook them both in the same pan and hope that they won't bleed into each other too much. The agaricus definitely has a stronger flavor, but I think they'll work together. All right, I'm gonna go take all this super buggy butter bleed and toss it in the compost, but you guys enjoy watching these cook up. Oh, I did wash this. I washed it really thoroughly under running water with a brush. I just was using my little knife to cut off the sort of stubborn pieces of dirt that wouldn't come off from just washing. So Hygrophorus definitely had more liquid in it. The Agaricus was relatively dry because it had been sitting out for a day. I guess so had the Hygrophorus, but it's just a lot wetter. It's interesting to see the difference between the two mushrooms. And also this one is black. It turns black when I cook it. Whereas I want the white one to stay white when I cook it, so keep it on the opposite sides of the pan. But just trying to run some heat through them. This Agaricus Maronii tastes like almonds. It tastes kind of like a portobello, but it's also almondy. It has benzaldehyde in it, which is the same compound that makes stuff taste like almonds. And then this Hygrophorus, it's been a few years since I tasted it, but I remember it just having sort of a mild mushroom-ish flavor, but not super earthy, you know? Do I like mushrooms? I do. Alejandro, do you like mushrooms? I'm not burning anything. It's just the color of the mushroom turns. Oh, thanks, Steven. Yeah, you can rewatch. I'll post it when I'm done here. I have a whole bunch more cooking streams on Instagram. Also here on YouTube, I have a bunch of cooking streams that you guys can watch. Cook all sorts of different kinds of mushrooms. I think I have 80 plus cooking streams and recipes on Instagram and probably about 50 here on YouTube. And I do a lot more on TikTok, and I don't usually upload those, so I just figured I'd pop on here and do them for you guys tonight. So for the most part, this has been a pretty chill audience, so I think I'll come back and maybe do more cooking live streams on YouTube throughout the summer whenever I'm processing a bunch of mushrooms. All right, I'm gonna turn this off. Heat's good. Spread this out a little bit. Yeah, those have turned out pretty well. Agaricus maronii and Hygrophorus subalpinus are the two mushrooms in the pan. And I'm just gonna finish, putting away my kings and butters. So here's all the king boletes I cooked up. Those in a Tupperware. And got all these butter boletes. Try to let them cool down as much as possible. I don't want to put hot food into plastic. Let that sit for a second more. Let's see, it's steaming. Stick some of these in. Do this carefully. All right. 1 tub of butters, another tub of butters. All right. Whew. So that was a lot of work. Took me almost 2 hours to go from just a board full of mushrooms to 3 cooked containers and a couple of bags worth of mushrooms. But it's been fun hanging out. I'll do a quick taste test for you guys on this alpinus. Let's try it out. Crunchy. Very mild, slightly sweet, a little nutty. That's a good mushroom. Not bad. Yum. These are slices of puffball I cooked up yesterday. Just brought them back. This one is Agaricus maronii. Tastes like a portobello, except it's also almondy. God, it's so good. Wow. Really, really fun selection of mushrooms here, so. Okay, guys, I'm gonna take off, but if you liked this, there's a whole lot more cooking streams on Instagram, also here on YouTube. You're welcome to watch. If you like hearing me talk about science and mushrooms, check out my podcast. It's here on YouTube. It's also on all major streaming services. I have a bunch of long form content where I talk about how do I ID mushrooms, how do I tell, where to hunt them, what's edible versus toxic. If you aren't familiar with my content, but you want to learn more about mushrooms, go watch it. And if you don't, then you don't have to. It's that simple. Anyhow, I hope you guys have a wonderful night. And thanks for hanging out. I bid you all adieu. Feel free to go follow me on all the other platforms and check out my Patreon and my podcast. All the links are in my bio. Okay, adios. Good night, YouTube.